Hey y'all, you want to know a secret? We all live the same life. Well, sort of. Sit down with us as we discuss various topics regarding being married millennials, where your spouse is both your best friend and your pain in the, well, you know.
Welcome to a very, very special edition of the Married to Millennials podcast. I'm Tuck.
I'm Mishi.
What's up, baby?
Hello.
Guess what we're about to do today?
What?
We are about to honor you as a mother, as a wife, and as a phenomenal person.
Aw.
We're going to kind of dive into your journey to motherhood and how it has changed you as a person. You ready to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me introduce you. My main squeeze, Boo Thang, Misha Tucker, y'all. All right, so I want to start off by kind of taking it back. We're going to go back into memory lane, and I want you to think about how you felt when you first found out you were pregnant.
Very first
The
time.
very first time, yes.
I think it was a mixed bag of emotions.
Okay, explain.
I was graduating college.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I took that fifth year. So it's graduating college. We had just gotten married the year prior.
Mm-hmm.
I had some things going on family wise, like my grandfather being sick and all that stuff too, that I really didn't know like once until a couple weeks after. But the mixed bag of emotions came more from like, am I ready?
Okay.
Right? Like, I'm super excited, right? Because we're married, we want kids, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, it's happening. Like it's just, you know how you say you go through those phases? Like you go
Yes.
through like emotions in like a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yeah.
that's what it felt like. Because I feel like it was like, oh my gosh. Like shock and denial.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm pregnant. Is this real? Like,
Right.
I don't know if this is real. Let me go and take 16 different pregnancy tests.
We did
Um,
take a lot of tests.
yeah, I like they were gonna change, right?
Yeah.
So the shock and denial piece of it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then I went into like, are we ready to do this?
Right. Okay.
and
No,
then
I get that.
and then I went to, are we financially ready to do this? But I was super excited,
Okay.
nonetheless.
Got you. And of course, we talked about in previous episodes that first pregnancy, of course, you know, did not happen as long as we
I
wanted
had
it
a
to.
miscarriage.
Yes, we had a miscarriage and we had multiple after that.
Mhm.
Um, so what went through your mind after each one, the test happened? How did you feel after each one of those tests?
Like the pregnancy test.
Yes.
Obviously, the first one was, just all that shock
Mm-hmm.
and like excitement. Thereafter was more of like, you can't breathe
Right.
because, one time happening, you kind of learn from it. And you're like, okay, let's try again.
Mm-hmm.
But it happening, four and five times, it's just like, I can't breathe until the baby's here,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So it was more of like, at that point, I felt like I had to more so protect us
Yeah.
by keeping it a secret until we knew otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the other ones, it wasn't, we weren't quick to tell anybody or say anything.
Right.
A lot of people probably didn't even know. I don't think
No.
anybody really knew because it was just us saying, well, I don't want to share this. And then nothing comes of it.
You're right.
And I'm going through this whole like cycle where I had to go back and tell people
Yeah.
I had another miscarriage, right?
Got you.
So still excited and hopeful,
Yes.
but also very much worried.
Got you. Got you. And so when we kind of fast forward, everybody knows we have two kids, but with Caden and Carson, how was that pregnancy different? Other than it going full term, what was different as far as emotions? What was different about that one?
We have been praying a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like we really were drawing close to God at that moment
Right.
because it's one of those things where it's like I don't have nothing else but to trust you. Like
Right.
I have nothing else but to trust that your will is gonna be your will, and
Mhm.
we're gonna follow your way and do what's needed and necessary, and what comes of it is gonna be from God,
Mhm.
right? So I think at that point, I can't say that I wasn't worried.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't want to say that.
Right. We're human.
I was still like basically walking on eggshells
Right.
about everything I did. You remember?
Mhm.
They gave me that list and told me not to eat certain things. I did not touch
You
it.
didn't touch a thing.
Didn't touch it.
Heating up belly meat
Yeah,
all the
and
time.
honestly, I didn't even try to eat it, right?
Yeah,
Like
you
I
didn't.
was like, I don't know,
Yeah.
might not be hot enough, right? And so I can't say that I wasn't worried. I was being very, very particular about things, and
Mhm.
um, but I also came in it with a different type of confidence, I
Yeah.
think, just because of believing God is gonna make it happen.
Right. Right, right, right.
And so I think that one was a little bit different. And so I tell people all the time, I love being pregnant.
Got you.
I enjoyed it, right? And not just because
Yeah.
we joke around all the time that I love being pregnant because I can wear dresses and nobody has to look at my stomach and tell me like
Right.
it's hanging over your belt line. Like,
Mhm. No, no, I get it.
um, but not only that, but I enjoyed it because it was kind of blissful.
Yeah. Got
Like,
you.
you know,
Okay.
except for the unfortunate, um, you don't call it a miscarriage, but
Mhm.
basically a stillbirth at that
Yeah.
point,
Uh-huh.
of Carson.
Right.
Outside of that, that pregnancy was pretty smooth.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I didn't have any issues with high blood pressure. I didn't have any issues with, my weight.
Mhm.
Honestly, the only weight I gained was from the babies inside of me.
Right. Right, right,
Um,
right.
so I didn't have any real problems, and it was very blissful.
Mhm.
So I think that made it. I think I was also living in that cloud just because I was like, it's happening,
Right. Right. Uh-huh.
and I'm thankful and I'm grateful and I'm blessed. So
Okay.
I mean, I think that's made it different, right? Because
Right.
my faith was much stronger at that moment.
Right. Yeah, most definitely. So no one in the world, even with you saying this to me now, no one in the world has ever used the word pregnancy and blissful together.
I
But I
know.
know, but that was your. I mean, everybody's situation is different. And I think you had a different mindset going into it as well too, because you felt like you were so blessed to even
Hmm.
one make it past the first trimester and to actually go through with a full pregnancy. What's one moment during that pregnancy that really stands out to you? That you were like, "Oh yeah," or the bad? What was one moment that stood out to you?
Um, you just said it, but like truthfully, making it past that first trimester
Hmm.
gave me halfway of a sigh of relief,
Okay,
right? Like
yeah,
I'm not gonna say that I exhaled all the way,
right.
but it was
Yeah.
almost like, okay, this is
Hmm.
further along than previous times. We have a plan.
Hmm.
Like we have doctors who I truly felt like were invested in, us having a kid,
Yeah. Hmm.
which we told people a kid.
Yeah.
It
Right.
was two of them.
A little
Uh,
secret.
well, but I feel like we had more of a baseline, of
Hmm.
what needed to happen and how we were going to go about things. And so once that first trimester was up, that was kind of my way of saying, okay, I can
Hmm.
breathe a little bit.
Right.
Um, Now, if you're asking me about like the best time, I
Hmm.
feel like our gender reveal
Uh huh.
was probably one of the highlights of
Got you.
of the pregnancy and all the things that we did, only because no one knew we were having twins.
Right. 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 Right.
And so the shock on everybody's faces, and I cherish it to this day with grandma.
Hmm.
And she, Mishe, Mishe, I told
Uh
you.
huh. She knew.
And not only that, but it being boys because my family is swamped
Full of
with
girls.
girls. So yeah, that was probably one of the best moments during that pregnancy.
Got you, got you. So let's fast forward to the actual birth.
Mm.
What do you remember most of the day that Caden and Carson were born?
That entire day was kind of interesting to me
Yeah,
because we were. Can I fast? Can I rewind for a
you
second?
sure can. Yeah, this is your hey, this is your
Well,
episode,
it's not
baby.
the day. You asked me about the day, but
I
I'll
did.
like if we rewind
Hmm.
a couple days before I went to the hospital, I had to go to a meeting, a strategy meeting with my team
Oh
for
yeah.
work.
Okay.
And I mean, we did it at my boss's house at the time,
Hmm.
and she lived in town, so that was fine. We went to her house, and it was like a 2 day meeting, I think, 2 or 3 day strategy meeting.
Hmm.
And I was sitting on her couch, and we were going over some metrics and stuff like that. And one of my really good friends was sitting right next to me, and I remember going. She was like, "You okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I just had some real bad back pain."
Hmm.
And she was like, "That's it, right? It ain't nothing else is going on."
Right.
And I said, "No, I'm okay. It was just like took my breath away for a second, but
Hmm.
I'm okay." So, and I think that was the last day of the strategy meeting. And then we had a doctor's appointment scheduled for that next day.
Yes.
So we went into the doctor's appointment, and I get checked at the time. And I'm laughing about it because I vividly remember your face
Hmm.
when the doctor goes, "Oh, you're 3 centimeters dilated already. You're going to the hospital in the morning."
My, mind you, y'all, when he said 3, I thought in my mind, I was like, oh, she just got to get to 5. So she better have this baby today. And then he was like, we can get you in tomorrow. I was like, what are you checking into a hotel? What do you mean we get me tomorrow? What the world?
No, but you were like, "Tomorrow?"
Yes.
And he was like, "Well, I mean, with you having twins and, the situation with Carson,
Hmm.
we did tell you to be ready by 37 weeks."
Right.
And you were like, "Yeah, but I didn't think you meant 37 weeks to the day."
Exactly. Exactly.
So anyway, I remember that. And so, we were planning to be in the hospital that morning.
Hmm.
Um, but then they called us. We were still in the bed. They called us and it was like, "Hey, um, it's labor and delivery is pretty backed up.
Hmm.
Do y'all mind coming in the afternoon?" I was like, "Do y'all mind?" "No, I don't mind. I'm going back to sleep."
Right.
And they were like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being, patient and all this stuff." And I was
Hmm.
like, I said, "Do people really scream at y'all?" Like, I'm having this
Yeah.
conversation. I was like, "Do people really scream at y'all when you tell them, 'Sorry, we couldn't predict that 10 other kids are going to be born?'"
Right. Right.
Um, so we went back to sleep, but then we're like, "Well, might as well go to the nail salon." And I went and got my nails painted.
And I sat there and got my feet done too. I was like, all right,
I
shoot.
picked out that baby blue
Uh huh.
nail polish
I did
and
not
got
pick
my
any
toes
nail
done.
polish, y'all.
Got my
To each his
toes done.
own.
And then went to Publix
Uh huh.
and I ate a full Publix sub, and that has never been a happy
Never.
thing.
Y'all, let me tell you. So, us dating, early marriage, Misha would have food. She would eat hers, and she wouldn't be done. And she'd go, "Oh, you want that? You want the rest of it? Me? Yeah, let me get the rest of that. I like to eat." I didn't hear a word from her that day. And I looked over, I said, "Oh, wow, you ate that whole sub." Mind you, I did the complete opposite. I didn't eat mine.
You were
I
nervous.
was very nervous.
Um, I ate that entire sub. One, I think it was because I knew I was going to be starving because they weren't going to feed me until after the babies were here. But two, I think I was just, I don't know. I don't know. I was just on cloud nine because I was like, this is about to happen and I'm hungry.
Hmm.
But on the actual, because I mean, obviously we went in, they didn't come to the next morning.
Right.
Um, I think the biggest thing for me was that the atmosphere that you set it was very relaxed. Like were intentional about making it a relaxing atmosphere.
Hmm.
So the aroma of the I don't even remember what was in the diffuser, but it was very
It
calming.
was peppermint and eucalyptus.
Very calming. We had some music going. All the nurses came in. They were like, "This is the room to be in." Um, I had an amazing nurse that kind of led the charge with everything and helped me navigate through being both joyful
Hmm.
for bringing Caden into this world and also navigating my pain of not being able to take Carson home.
Hmm.
So I think in itself, were all of that was like so memorable that
Hmm.
everything sticks in my brain.
Yeah, got you. So, how did you feel? So, of course, labor, different things like that. You know, the the worst part.
Oh,
Fast forward.
little something, something, right?
No, not at all. Not a little something, something at all. But how did you feel the first time you saw and held Caden?
I don't. So this is kind of similar to um, us getting married. You remember when
Hmm.
we joked around about like how I didn't cry
Yeah.
because I think I like psyched myself up so much that I was like,
Hmm.
I can't. I didn't cry when I first held Caden, but it was almost like this awe. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like
Hmm.
I'm a mom. He's here.
Right.
And I think at most I probably giggled a lot because
Yes, you did.
Caden was already animated coming out.
Sure was.
Um, but it was very, very special. I do remember that. It was very, very special because there were times prior to that that I wasn't sure I was ever going to be able to do that.
Right.
That I was ever going to hear someone calling me mom that
Hmm.
came out of my womb,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Right.
And so it was very, very special at the time. I do remember just staring at him and like just watching his every move because again, very, very animated coming
Hmm.
out. Um, and already like trying to lift his head and stuff. That's crazy to me. But
Them COVID babies.
but yeah, so I don't know. It was just speechless, honestly.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
got you. No, I get that. I get that. Um, talk about the. Don't want to take away from your excitement, but like everyone else's excitement and everyone else's support. Kind of touch on that as well too.
Um, which way do you want me to go with that? So just being there, is
Hmm.
that what you're
Yeah,
asking?
in the hospital.
Okay. Um, so it was one of those things like when people celebrate things, like you want people to see it, like you want people to be around, you
Yeah.
want people to, um, I don't know, celebrate with you.
Hmm.
And we had a lot of close family and friends who stopped by the hospital,
Hmm.
offered to bring meals or to purchase our dinner or whatever that was. But like there was so much celebration around it, right?
Right.
Um, I do remember, you know, the immediately when they found out we were going into the hospital,
Hmm.
your parents being like, "Okay, we'll be on our way soon."
They almost beat us there. I'm just saying.
We were like, hold on.
They were
You
super
can go to
excited.
the house. Like you can go to the house
Right.
and hang out and we'll let you know the baby's not here yet.
Right.
Like I barely have walked into the hospital.
Uh-huh.
Um, I do remember that, and I remember my mom because I told my mom I'm a pretty private person um, when it comes to certain things, and I just wanted it to be us.
Hmm.
Um, and Jazz, my friend who's a doula,
Hmm.
so I told her I just wanted it to be us, and moms. She came on up there anyway.
Yeah.
Um, and so just she was excited too.
And you were still happy to see her too,
Oh, of
so
course,
yeah.
yes, but
You couldn't tell she
I
need to
knew
know.
she wasn't gonna listen. So, just the excitement from
Yeah.
them. But after, also, I noticed that like everyone was excited, but they were also trying to be very careful
Yeah.
about what they said
Yeah.
um, or did
Mhm.
because they weren't sure how I was going to react
Yeah. Yeah. I get
with
that.
the loss of Carson.
Yeah. Got you. Yeah, there was a lot of they just didn't quite know what to say. So,
Yeah. And the hospital made this beautiful like memory box
yes.
that they took pictures of Carson's feet
Mhm.
and in the blanket, gave us the pictures, even gave us two teddy bears, one for Kate and one for Carson.
Mhm.
And we cherish that
Yeah.
still. But I remember handing it over to our moms, and that probably was the worst idea. Um,
Yeah.
because it, of course, like what they tried, but they
Yeah.
neither one of them could hold their emotions. Now I had already been through my cycle,
Yeah.
right? I had already been
Mhm.
through, my feelings. I chose joy
Yes.
because God, promised me something and it was there
Mhm.
in front of me.
Mhm.
And so, I was okay emotionally. They didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I think they were too so busy trying to suppress their emotions, not to make me upset,
Mhm.
that once they opened that box, they just lost it.
Right. Right.
So I remember both of them having to go to the bathroom or walk out of the
Mhm.
room.
Mhm.
But it's just because they were also grieving.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Got you. So, so I'm gonna start this off by saying, um, you were very eager to get out of that hospital. I would say that. So
Yeah,
when they told
ready
you
to
the
go.
first time, because normally C-section is a
An
certain
extra
amount,
day.
yeah, an extra day. They were like, "You look good. You want to go home?" You was like, "I sure do."
Yep. Get me out of here.
Right. So
Clean me up, Scotty.
exactly. So in those first, we of course we went home. First few weeks, be honest. What were they like, and what were some of the hardest parts of the first couple weeks?
Um, well, the first couple of days I feel like were pretty easy.
Hmm.
Kaden was a great sleeper.
Yes.
So I don't feel like, how a lot of people say, I didn't get any sleep. I'm like, no, I got sleep.
Hmm.
If I didn't get sleep, it was because I was too busy being anxious and waking up to make sure he was still breathing.
Right.
Um, but it wasn't that he was waking me up, right? And
Yeah.
I know. Like you're supposed to wake the baby up so many hours and feed them. I didn't. Only because he would let me know when he was hungry.
Right. Still
And
does to
he
this
would
day.
eat a lot at one time.
Sure would.
So much so that my grandma suggested putting cereal in his bottle.
Mm. Hmm.
But he was a great sleeper, and so I don't like first couple days. I really don't think it was. I think we were just trying to navigate the new normal,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of visitors and things like that.
Yeah.
And then, but as the weeks went on, I think I was still just trying to navigate. Like, am I doing this right? Like, am I being a
Mm.
good mom?
Hmm.
Um, He was very attached to you at some point because you're a great father. So, you would have him sometimes and he would cry sometimes when you would put him down, right?
Hmm.
And want you. And so like there are times when I was like, "Oh, baby don't like me. What is
Yeah.
going on?" Um, but it was just that he was used to your voice sometimes
Hmm.
and mine he wanted me when he was time to eat. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, you can't tell that now. He sticks under me sometimes,
Yes,
but
he does. Mama's boy. Did anything surprise you about being a new mom?
um, hmm, good question. I don't think I really knew what to expect,
Got you.
to be honest, to
Hmm.
be surprised about anything.
Hmm.
Um, I think if you're asking me what might be considered surprising was just more of like my body
Hmm.
how strong it is,
Yeah.
because I ended up having a C-section
Mhm.
because my contractions were causing his heart rate to drop.
Mhm.
So I ended up having a C-section and just not realizing like how much the body goes through and how quickly you can heal, right? Like,
Right.
because I'm like, okay, they just cut through me. When am I going to be able to sit up and walk and stuff, right? And I was walking that day painfully,
Yeah.
but
Right.
walking. And then I feel like it was only like a week before I was able to walk with no problem.
Yeah.
So just surprised by the body and the strength of the body, even though I mean, I know we're meant to be able to do that, but living it,
Mhm.
I think, is the biggest piece. But other than that, I
Yeah.
don't think I knew to expect one thing or the other.
Right. Got you. Okay. Now, of course, all the focus was on Caden just now, Caden and Carson just now, but we do have another child.
Or mini
Just
me.
wanted to talk about the first time, but
Yeah.
we'll kind of dive into the second pregnancy as well too. But I first want to talk about, how do you think becoming a mom changed you as a person?
Well, you have to start learning how to think about other people, right?
Yeah.
And I think with us being married, like I had started with that, like it's not just me, like I have to think about X, Y, and Z, but you really got to think about
Mm-hmm.
your every move before you do something
Right.
when you have a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that probably changed me the most just because I was used to getting up and doing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, you want to go to the beach? Let's go.
Right.
All right. Now I'm looking at, well, how we're going to get the crib or bassinet there.
Mm-hmm.
Is it kid friendly? Where are we
Right.
going? You know what I mean? All
Mm-hmm.
those things. So just how to move and navigate life. And then just patience.
Yeah.
I like to consider myself a patient person, but let me tell you, sometimes kids can get on your nerves because of the questions they ask and, never sitting down, never being still,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just learning,
Yeah.
right? And you
Mm-hmm.
find yourself getting aggravated sometimes because you're like, why do you keep asking me the same thing over and over and over again? But then you have to realize like they're just learning. They're questioning it because it's new to them.
Right.
It's intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think patience is a big piece of me growing as a mom.
Yeah. Got you. So you've talked about times of, being unsure if you were, if you were doing things right,
Yeah.
or sometimes you felt overwhelmed. How did you get through some of those tough times and those moments thinking about those things?
Prayer,
Mm.
number one,
Mm-hmm.
because I just needed peace. Like I prayed a lot for like peace and clarity.
Yes.
Like God, please just grant me peace, grant me clarity,
Mm-hmm.
help me know what to do in the moments they need me most.
Mm-hmm.
I still pray that a
Yeah.
lot. So prayer was number one. Number two, I did listen to a lot of like gospel music
Mm-hmm.
and like some low vibration, like R&B,
Yeah.
jazz type stuff, just to
Gotcha.
kind of give myself time in a hot bath or something, just to kind of, be with myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, three, you were a great resource because I was able to talk how I was feeling without
Mm-hmm.
feeling judged
Yeah.
and without feeling like if I say this, they're gonna think I'm crazy. No, I just speak to you and
Mm-hmm.
you can help reassure me or help me think of it in a different way. So having someone to lean on was big too.
Yeah. Got you. So, motherhood, of course, your journey to motherhood looked a little bit more different than other people. And we don't have Carson with us, but we do have Callie Ray.
Little Miss
Little,
Sass.
yes. How do you feel that transition from one to two?
Mm.
What was your thoughts about that transition?
I joke around about this all the time, which is
Mm-hmm.
probably really not a joke. It's probably real, and honest. if I would have had Kaden and Carson both here,
Yeah.
Calorie probably would not have been.
Mm.
Only
Mhm.
because it's difficult having let me stop right there. It's not difficult having 2 kids, I don't
Mhm.
think. It's difficult balancing 2 kids
Mhm.
because you as and this is something I've said to you before.
Right.
As a parent, you're like, I don't want to it seeming like I'm favoring one over the other or one gets
Mhm.
more than the other.
Mhm.
Even though there's an age gap, like there are some times when Kaden would need something and I would be like, well, I gotta get Calorie want something too. Cause I just don't
Mm.
feel right
Right.
not doing that as their mom, you
Yeah.
know? Or I remember asking you, like, how do I make sure that I provide the same love to her
Mhm.
that I have for Kaden, right?
Yeah.
I loved her and I knew I was going to love her. But what I'm saying is, like, Kaden came at a time when I was not sure
Right.
about being a mom,
He's our miracle baby.
right? And
Yeah.
so I just like spent a lot of time with him because right after he was born, the world shut down.
Mhm.
So we were able to bond a lot.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make sure that I provided her with the same love and the same time
Mhm.
while also balancing the fact that he has to realize he has a sibling now,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like he
Uh-huh.
has to share me, he has to share you, he has to
Mhm.
share things. So like that's tough because you
Yeah.
don't want them to be like, well, there's a new baby here and now I'm forgotten about.
Right, right. And I'm gonna touch on that as well too. And I think the reason why we both tapped into that a little bit more because we
We're the
both are
first
the
child.
oldest, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like one of those. Not necessarily. It's almost. It sounds harsh to say this, but it's almost like survivor's guilt. Like
Mhm.
you're like, I went through those things. I don't want him to feel that way,
Yeah.
or I don't want him to even think that, or even have that.
I
You
tell
know.
my parents now. I
Yeah.
mean, they were just here not too long ago, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, "Y'all are tough on me."
Yeah.
You know
Mm,
what happened
tough
to my
on.
sisters, right?
Tough on
Like,
me too.
or just me. She's fine.
Mm,
She's good. She's gonna
mhm.
do it, right? Like,
Yeah,
she's gonna do it. We don't have to worry about it.
yeah.
Well, sometimes I want you to worry about me.
Right. No, no, I
You
get that.
know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like sometimes I want you to think about me.
Yeah, even
So
yeah,
I don't want Kaden to feel that way. So it's
exactly.
the balance of that.
Hmm. So we like you just talked about the transition from one to two. What's in parenthood in general? What's something you wish more people understood about new moms?
New moms need grace.
Mm,
New moms need reassurance. Um, New moms need help,
right.
right? Like when I say grace, like moms are not ready to just jump up and keep moving, even though we are known to do so.
Hmm.
So the house might be messy. The clothes might not be washed. She might look a hot mess for a little bit,
Hmm.
but she just brought in a beautiful baby into the world
Right.
and went through hell and high water to do so.
Mm, hmm.
It's not easy. And I think people sometimes think, oh, you just, went to the hospital, push the baby out. That's not it. Like, there is a lot of stress put on the body.
Hmm.
So, moms are going to need help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's not just, oh, well, the baby needs fed and the mom's breastfeeding. I didn't have that luxury because I didn't really have a supply. But,
Hmm.
like, I've heard moms say like, "Well, I have to get up because I'm the milk."
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Okay, well, figure out another way.
Right.
Put it in a bottle. Make that daddy wake up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I think just knowing about new moms is you need to reassure them that they're doing well
Hmm.
because there's a lot of questions because we're just navigating
Hmm.
the newness. Right? We're
Yeah.
we're navigating something that we've never done before, or if it's the second and third child, every child is different.
Mm, yeah.
Every experience is different.
Hmm.
Help, reassure,
Yeah.
yeah, give grace.
Got you. So talking about new moms, we'll kind of back just a little bit
Hmm.
and talk about pre-mom. If you could go back and tell your pre-mom self one thing, what would it be?
For my particular situation, it would just be your time will come
Mm,
because I think I stressed myself out so much just trying to figure out like why is this happening to me? Why is it happening so frequently?
hmm
And just kind of beating myself up a little bit at the beginning.
hmm
I think I would just go back and tell myself, your time will come. Don't stress it.
hmm
Yeah.
Got you. Now, as far as I know, you always wanted to be a mom. Is there any time? What are some things that you missed about your life before having kids?
I think just to get up and go
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
I don't think I'm not one to sit there and say, "Oh, I could have done this and could have done that."
Yeah.
No, because this was an ultimate goal for me. Like this, I
hmm
wanted children, so this
Right.
was meaningful to me.
hmm
Um, but the get up and go is probably the thing I miss the most.
Yeah.
However, we take our children with us sometimes,
Yeah. Right.
But
Exactly.
just the fact that you can say, "Oh, I'm going on a trip," and now you don't have all the mental load of
hmm
thinking through who's going to keep them. Are they coming with us, or what we
Yeah.
got to pack, and what kind of food that we need to make before we leave, and
hmm
who's splitting the time between the kids, who's picking them up from daycare.
Yeah.
Um, did I remember to tell them that they had a soccer game, on the weekend?
hmm
So just that piece of it.
Yeah. Got you. So definitely, you wear the mom title with pride for sure. There's no doubt about
Yeah.
that at all. What's one thing you hope our kids will remember about you as a mom, as their mom?
Hmm. Good question. I want our kids,
Mhm.
to know that mommy was always there,
Mhm.
that mommy loved them to no end
Mm.
and would do anything for them, that mommy would always support them, whatever they do, but also give guidance and love and patience
Mhm.
through all of it.
Yeah.
And I want them to feel like they can say their kids, I'm teaching you this because my mom did too.
Mm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's kind of piggyback off that a little bit. I want you to take it a little bit deeper as well too. So I
Hmm.
want you to send a message to them. Of course, they don't have Spotify or YouTube or anything like that. Well, no, Katie might be able to
Oh
get on
no,
YouTube.
Kaden might have an account.
I want you to say a message to them that they can later go back and listen to this episode and hear some great words for
Mm.
them. It could be encouragement, it could be anything.
Okay, I'll speak to both of them together
That sounds
because I
good.
think it applies to both of them. But I want to say, mommy loves you, and I'm so, so, so proud of the way you're growing, the kind-hearted kids you are. They're smart, very mindful of others, and I never want them to lose that.
Yeah.
And I thank them for always loving me, even when I'm feeling like I'm unlovable,
hmm
and always giving me grace
Yeah.
when I mess up too.
hmm
Mistakes happen, but we can always learn from them, and I'll love you forever.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
So I want to take a moment to kind of talk about you as their mom as well too. And I want to first start off by saying thank you. Thank you for always showing our kids so much love, showing them that they are important, showing them that they are meaningful, and helping them grow to the people they are today. And I just want to tell you, happy Mother's Day. Of course, mothers should not get recognition only on one day. They should get it year round. They should get the help. They should get the support that they need. The grace you talked about as well too. Because one thing to remember, even though we put moms on such this high pedestal of, you know, someone who keeps the family together, I don't think that they should get all that. I think that they should one get their flowers early, and not get their flowers when it's too late. I want them to know that even though they are an important piece of the family, they're not the only piece of the family, and that some of that burden needs to be carried. And I want to say here that I promise to always make sure that you don't ever feel that way, that you're carrying the whole burden of this family.
Thanks, babe.
Of course, of course.
Why are you crying? I'm supposed to cry.
I'm not crying. I'm not crying.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's change subject because I am tearing up. Now I want you to take a moment and think about one of your favorite memories of each kid. I want you to go Caden, favorite memory of Caden, favorite memory of Callie Ray.
Oh, you should have told me about this ahead of time.
Wow. I want it, off the cuff.
I gotta think about it though, because these kids are funny.
Yes, they are. Who they get it from, though? Me.
Okay.
I like to think so.
I gotta think about it. Might take me a second. Okay. Favorite memory of Kaden.
No, it's hard as a parent. There's just so
I feel like
many.
I need to like go through my phone and scroll and look at pictures and videos and
Right,
see.
right.
Okay, so Kaden, we talk about it sometimes where Kaden's speech was a little bit
Mm-hmm.
delayed. I feel like it all had to deal with the COVID piece and all not seeing people's mouths and stuff like that from the mask. But
And Coco Melon.
oh yeah, banned, banned from this house.
Yeah.
But oh my God, loving note. Like it took a while for him to start like calling us by name and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. And so the moment I heard mommy from him
Mm-hmm.
was like, I think I probably bawled. It was just,
Yeah.
crying or whatever.
Yeah.
But the funny part about Caden is that when he spoke, he sounded Italian.
He did. He did.
And so he would add all these letters to the end of his words. But we knew what he was saying.
Uh-huh.
And he knew what he was saying.
Yeah. He would go, Mommy, you on the phone, eh? I was like, the what? The phone, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I have videos of that I just watch and I just like, Caden, listen to you.
Right.
Now the little boy is a dictionary.
Oh
Like
my gosh. Yes.
he says words that I'm like, where'd you hear that from? And
Mm-hmm.
how did you use that in the right context? So
Right.
I think that's probably the funniest thing with Caden,
Mm-hmm.
or the most memorable when it
Yeah.
comes to his speech, anyway.
Right.
Callie Ray, Miss Callie Ray.
Mm.
Callie Ray, she grew up so fast.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost a blur
Mm-hmm.
because, like, I feel like we brought her home, and now the girl's walking around, and I think we're in her funniest moments right now.
Yes. Yes. For sure.
She pops that hip out, turns that neck, and
Mm-hmm.
like holds her hands out. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
wish people could see what I'm talking about. We're gonna have to put a picture up somewhere.
We're
But
gonna do
like,
full videos. You got it.
she's animated,
Very.
and like she's doing this thing right now where she's rolling her eyes, and it's not gonna be cute for long, but it's cute right now.
Yeah, ain't cute to me.
But it's not rolling her eyes at us. It's just
Yeah.
like when she's talking, she's like doing this like roll to be animated. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like
Yeah.
she's I don't
Yeah.
even know how to explain it. She's like twisting her neck and all this stuff
Mm-hmm.
when she's talking to her brother. And I think that's the piece that I love right now is
Yeah.
those two having conversations with one another.
Mm-hmm.
She punks him a lot.
A lot. More than it should be.
She punks him a lot.
And she tells him off too.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And that's
Like,
hard for him because he's always right. And now he got somebody checking him.
yeah,
So yeah, he don't know how to handle it.
yeah. So I feel like we're in the best moments right now,
Yeah,
and they just keep getting better.
right. They're hilarious for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard
Yes.
question. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to think about it a little bit longer, but
It's cool.
yeah,
Y'all, we got Instagram, we got TikTok. We gonna post some stuff. Y'all gonna
they're
get a glimpse
funny.
of our life for sure. But thank you again for being so vulnerable and open about your journey. And
Mhm.
like I said, this episode was solely just to honor you as a mother and to say thank you for all that you do for us.
Thank you.
Of course. All right, y'all. Once again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And I
And the
want
mother figures
and the mother figures as well too.
and those longing to be moms.
You got it. You got it. What'd you say? Your time will come.
Your time will come.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
Hey, y'all. Did you enjoy the episode today? If so, don't forget to comment your favorite moments and share with your family and friends. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe to our Married to Millennials podcast YouTube channel and follow us on every major platform for podcasts. And don't forget, we're also on Instagram and TikTok at M2M Podcast. See you later.